Hello there, planner fans. I wanted to make this video before we all get really busy with the holidays. We're coming up on Christmas and New Year's here, so I wanted to give what I did to my Erin Condren planner a week or two before I went shouting from the rooftops about how great it was living in my new Filofax. And honestly, I couldn't be happier with my decision. I went into this knowing full well that I could totally screw up my planner, but I knew I kind of had some backup plans. So I had my 15 off of 50 coupon still. That didn't expire till the end of the year. I knew that Filofax had a 30-day no hassles return policy, so I knew if I hated my Filofax, I could return it. And I just kind of went into this knowing that this is going to be a project. I have the cash to burn if I need to. I wouldn't recommend doing this if you are even a little bit on the fence about it working for you, because this is not a cheap planner to have. We all know that we make sacrifices in order to have this planner in our lives, and you're talking about a $50 or so guts of the planner, and then this particular Filofax was $150. I've had my eye on a Malden for a very long time. You definitely don't have to use a Malden. This I put this inside of an original Filofax as well, and it fit just fine. So I decided to end up going with the Malden just because it's a gorgeous color. The band on this is a little bit wider, so it fits all this stuff a little bit better. And it's just, this is one of the most beautiful Filofaxes I've ever seen, and I've been after it for a while. So really the reason I decided to Filofax my Erin Condren Life Planner is because, to be totally honest, if there is something that has a limited quantity on it, and I'm not sure if I can get that quantity quickly or replenish that quantity quickly, I just totally shy away from using that. And what I'm talking about are the note pages in the back of the planner. So we have these great note pages in the back of the planner, the line pages and the blank pages, but I was so scared of using them. I mean, scared's a little bit of a strong word, but I just didn't want to use them because we had a finite amount of pages in the back of our notebook, and it drove me crazy that if I used them all up, that was it. I was done for the year. So I'm very much the kind of person that wants to either be able to add stuff or change stuff or make stuff my own, which is why I bought a silhouette. So when the zombie apocalypse happens, I can continue to make stickers. It's just something, it's like a self-sufficient thing. I want to be able to be fully self-contained, and I can make everything that I need right here. So I wanted to be able to add in scratch paper or other pages, and because I was so happy with my Filofax setup, I ended up using my 15 off 50 to buy an additional Erin Condren notebook. Will I purchase a $35 notebook in the future? Probably not. I also researched the plum paper notebooks as well, and they seem to be very high quality for lined pages. That's, let's be honest, it's just lined pages in a notebook that I'm going to be chopping up. I'll probably purchase that in the future when I run out of lined pages for my Erin Condren, but I had a 15 off 50 that I needed to burn, and so that's what I spent it on. I also had a cover that was coming apart, and Erin Condren was sending me a replacement for, so that's what I practiced on for punching my covers, because I did punch my covers. That was another thing that kind of inspired me to want to turn this into a Filofax Erin Condren. I really like the colorfulness and the playfulness of this planner, but I wanted something to put it in that was maybe a little bit more, I guess for lack of a better word, sophisticated or a little bit more grown up. I really do like the colors and the brightness of this planner, but now I kind of feel like I'm Superman with my Superman cape underneath and my boring work clothes on top. So this is all business on the outside and party on the inside. And I really like that about it. So, and the cool thing about Filofaxes is you can buy as many of those as you want to, and they have hot pink and hot orange and whatever else you want to search eBay for, you can find. So without further ado, let's dive right in. This Malden did come with inserts, and boring, right? So that's why I didn't stick with this. That's kind of what deterred me from getting a Filofax in the first place, is these guts just were not going to work for me. And luckily for me, the Erin Condren planner works really well. So You guys have all seen the videos of people gutting their planners, so I'm not really going to go into too much detail about that. I initially wasn't sure. I was kind of timid going into this, so I started tearing pages out of this. And finally, about 5 minutes into it, I just said, you know what, let's do this. And so I clipped, I don't know if you can see that. I clipped the end off here. It used to look like that. And then just started twisting it out of my planner. The first couple pages, I practiced with some old months that I didn't need anymore. So the first couple pages I ended up ripping out. And then the rest of them, if you're going to do this, I highly recommend uncoiling it. Because the pages will lay flat when you're going to cut them in your paper trimmer. The other thing that deters a lot of people from filofaxing their pages is the fact that the punches go into the Wednesdays and Thursdays dates. And that is something that really I struggled with for a long time before I actually decided to go through with it. And I'm just going to show you guys how not a big deal that really is. And for somebody like me, I'm an extreme perfectionist. It's really not caused me any trouble at all, and the costs, or sorry, the benefits of filofaxing this baby far outweigh anything that it takes away from. So I always kind of laugh looking back at my old layouts. They're just kind of all over the place. I'm a little bit more streamlined now, but basically this is what it looks like when you rip this out. So you rip these pages out, you have all these frayed edges here. Like I said, I highly recommend uncoiling, and so you have, this is going to be all flat and a lot easier to cut. And then you just grab, this is my handy dandy paper cutter. I love this thing. Oops, sorry, camera. I've used this for all of my projects. It's a really awesome cutter. The arm comes out like that. Really great cutter. So you line it up, and this paper cutter originally had a wire going down here so you could kind of see where you were lining up the pages. That wire ended up fraying, and so I ended up just cutting it off anyway. But when you go, it's going to be hard to see on the camera here, but when you go to cut these pages, you can kind of eyeball it a little bit. So you'll stick it in there, and then on the actual blade itself, there's kind of this, I don't know if you guys can see that, a line right there in the middle of the actual blade, and the blade is directly underneath that. So if you put it in here, you know, this is going to take some time, so be patient. You're going to kick yourself if you try to go too fast and you end up ruining pages. But I lined up the line on this blade right here with the kind of the divot inside of these holes. So I didn't want to take too much. I literally just cut enough so that the little pieces of paper were gone. So it kind of leaves me with, that one, I missed that one, but this is old, so I'm not using this one. But it kind of leaves you with this almost textured kind of scalloped edge. That's enough to give you a nice sturdy edge, but also not take so much off that you're really punching into the middle of these days right here. So all of my pages ended up getting cut like that. This one too. You can see the scalloped edges. And if you take enough off just to have the tiniest bit of scalloping here, you're going to be just fine punching this. I've seen a couple people that try to cut halfway through the punches, and so there's a lot of edge sticking off of the, right here. They cut kind of through these holes, and so there's still kind of a lot of this fringe hanging off, and then they punch it and it ends up tearing. So you do want to make sure you take all that fringe off, but it's okay to have the scalloping on the edge here. That's going to be just fine. I ordered a hole punch from Amazon, but I wanted to have a little bit more control when I was initially punching stuff. Plus, it took too long to get here, and I already had a crocodile, so I wanted to get this done. I used the 3/16. This one has a 1/8. Yeah, 1/8 and a 3/16 side. And I used the 3/16 side to punch, which is what this little guy also punches as well. So I also, once I had these pages trimmed down, and take your time, you don't want to rush this because you don't want to mess this up and then get frustrated. Here's another good example. This one's maybe just a touch too scalloped, but it still gives you plenty of room here. You don't want these rings to rip through. So I'd say this, you'd be just fine doing that. So if you really want to save as much room as possible, leave your edges like this. So then what I did is I took, the Filofax comes with a flyleaf cover. I don't know if you guys can see this, sorry. It's It's a plastic fly leaf. It's transparent, obviously. And then it has holes punched down along the side. So I use this as a template. And I will write below in the comments all of the measurements I did because, yeah, I had to measure everything. I did not eyeball anything. And I'm so precise with this that I actually ended up using millimeters. So I will let you guys know the size of the template that I ended up making. But basically what I did is this fly leaf is just a little bit too narrow, top and bottom, I guess. Here the Erin Condren hangs out a little bit wider. So yes, I measured the distance. I measured how tall the fly leaf was and then how tall the Erin Condren was, divided it, and then lined it up perfectly. And I ended up making a template and just wrote paper punch on here. So this template fits the pages that I all trimmed down, and it has the correct holes. So what I did is I just took, once I trimmed the edges, I took probably 3 to 5 sheets. I got a little bit more comfortable the more I did it. So I started off doing like 1, maybe 2 sheets at a time, but I got a little bit more comfortable as I went along with it, and ended up using, I'd lay my paper punch over the top of a stack. I would use a pencil and just fill in the circles here. And this is obviously already punched, but then I would just take my crocodile and punch, punch, punch all the way down. It did not take a whole lot of time. And honestly, that might be the route that I end up going in the future anyway, because as adorable and useful as this little guy is, it doesn't have one of those pull-out slide bars so that you know where the exact middle of your paper is. So if that makes sense, let's show you. You can slide this up and down as far as you want to accommodate however large your sheets are. So I'll kind of show you how I got around that a little bit later when we get to that point. But I'm trying to brainstorm some ways to engineer like a paper stop here. I mean, really what you can do is take your template, and I think this is what I'm going to do. Fold this in half, find the exact middle, and then when you want to punch something, this might be a little tedious, but if you're a perfectionist like me, line it up and then just go on the edge here, and where the middle was of your template, mark the middle here, and then you can actually see on the inside here, this middle bar. If you line that mark up here, you're gonna have your holes punched perfectly every time. So just something to think about. Not a huge deal. And then I actually pretty much repurposed everything in my Erin Condren. Like I said, I punched my cover, and I have 6 other covers that I'm going to be punching in the future. I'm still trying to kind of find that sweet spot of where I want the cover punched. Because when I first put this into original size Filofax, the rings are a little bit smaller. And a Malden, an A5 Malden, has 1.2 inch rings, and an original Filofax has 1 inch rings. I wanted a little bit more space, so I could have punched my cover a little bit, left it a little bit wider, so it didn't stick out so far. But like I said, I used a throwaway cover that I'm going to get rid of anyway because it's coming apart and they're sending me a new one. So in the future, for my next one that's coming, I trimmed this down to line up with the actual pages, not including the tabs, because like I said, the original Filofax doesn't hold it quite as well. This one, this leather is super floppy, and I thought the tab sticking out was going to bother me, but really it's another one of those things that wasn't enough to deter me from putting it in here anyway. My tabs were sticking out of my plastic Erin Condren covers anyway, and these are reinforced with plastic, so I think they're going to be fairly durable. One of the nice things about the Malden is this zip pocket right here, and it's holding 4 pens for me right now. So my 2 different sized frictions, which honestly I wish I would have known about these pens a whole lot sooner because these are amazing. I love them. I have a 0.7 and a 0.5. I have a dual-ended Sharpie for my washi tape, and then this is for if I need to write on any labels, or I need something to be permanent like an envelope and I don't want to use a friction. So those all fit in here really nicely. I thought they were going to add too much bulk, but they really don't. And then you have a couple of card holders here on the side, and then this pocket right here, I just tucked in my perpetual calendar. So it fits pretty much perfectly right inside this little pocket right here. It's awesome. It's like this thing was made for the Erin Condren planner. In the back, I don't want to use all my beautiful Erin Condren pages if I just need a scratch note. So I bought this thing at Staples for $1. It's the 5x8 inch writing block. These come in packs of 6, but these were one for $1, and I wanted to try it out before I decided to buy, you know, commit to, actually I think it was like an 8 or a 10 pack, but anyway, you could buy a whole bunch of them for $7. And there's a little flap back here. And these would actually probably fit the Erin Condren ones just as well, but I have this. So that one's sliding in there. You can do scratch notes on here. You can do like a grocery list or whatever. So that works out really well. I use the front and the back cover as kind of like a fly leaf. If any of you guys have experience with a ringed binder, sometimes the front or the back page can get kind of bent and caught up. So when you have a fly leaf type thing, it helps to keep all the pages nice and flat inside. So I'm going to show you guys, this was my original punch when I put it into the original Filofax, these holes right here. So when I get my new cover, I'm probably going to leave the punches, and I'll put all the lengths and distances and stuff like that in the comment section, or sorry, in the note section. But I ended up wanting to shorten the width of this a little bit. Next time I'll probably leave it right there, because that brings it right to the edge here of my tabs. And so my original holes would have been perfect and will be perfect for my next cover that I punch. I also have one extra throwaway cover that I'm going to probably test that on as well. So that's not a huge deal, because like I said, this was a throwaway. And I repurposed pretty much everything from my actual planner. So this is the Ziploc thing that comes in the back of the planner. You can see these actually, let's see if I can't get some good light. Well, you guys know what the little holes look on the side here. If you kind of wiggle it and mess with it, you can actually get this thing to slide onto the 6 rings without modifying it at all. But being the perfectionist that I am, it actually sat up a little tiny bit too high, and it wasn't exactly in the middle. So all I did was take some sturdy packing tape like this, and I stretched out a piece and I stretched out a piece long enough to go from here all the way down to here, and then I just folded it in half and then punched it. So it reinforces the edge here. It doesn't take away any of the space inside of this thing. And then I just used my little, actually I think it was too thick to fit in there, so I just used my little crocodile and punched the 3 holes, and it ended up, I hope you guys can see this. Let's see, this might be better. It ended up going right through the original holes that were punched for the Erin Condren spiral, but because I put that heavy duty packing tape on there, it's kind of like its own little hole reinforcer. So that fit perfectly in there. Another thing that I was using in my Erin Condren planner, I actually originally had coil clips attached to them, and that was these I don't know. That's these things here, the Avery's. So the Avery, there's a business card page that's 8.5 by 5.5. So you don't need to buy the Filofax. You don't need to buy the Filofax brand stuff. I saw those on Amazon, but it was like $11 for one of these guys. So I said, no, thank you. I'm going to make my own. I think this comes in a 5-pack, and the rings, the holes are not punched correctly for a Filofax, but we're going to use the same exact hack that we used on the Ziploc to make those fit our Filofax as well. And then these are the sheet protectors. These are a pack of 15 for a couple bucks as well. And you can buy all that stuff on Filofax, or you can just go ahead and make it yourself. It actually did come with one frosted page protector, but I also wanted some clear ones. So I literally just did the same exact thing. Here's the business card holder. I haven't put anything in it, obviously, but I didn't want to mess with, let's get some dark background here. I didn't want to mess with going all the way from the top to the bottom and trimming, so I just took a piece of tape that fit from the edge of the punched part here and all the way up to the top here, folded it in half. So hopefully that makes sense. So I took a piece of tape, I folded it like this, and then folded it around the back side and pushed it together. And then I just punched it. I used my template and I just punched this. I actually used the original punching holes because this falls right in the middle of this. Can't see that, but this hole right here falls in the exact middle of this, and so I stuck it inside the little 6-hole punch and lined it up and punched this, and now I have really an unlimited supply of these card holders and also these little page protectors too. So I did the same thing here. Just tape over it and punched it correctly to fit the Filofax. Like I said, if I can't make it myself, I don't want to use it. I want to be able to have an unlimited supply for something if I want to. The last part of my notebook that I did end up repurposing as well, because I did want to keep it together. Wow, that was totally unintended, but I do want to keep it together. So I ended up repurposing my Keep It Together folder in my Filofax as well, and I just did the same tape trick. So I took a piece of this heavy duty packing tape. I taped, let's see if I can show you guys a reflection here. So I saw somebody did a little hack here where they taped across the bottom, and now you have a nice big pocket to stick stuff in. So I taped across the bottom, so I have a big pocket now. And then I took that big heavy duty packing tape and taped from here all the way down here. So I sealed up all these holes, and then I punched it just like I did everything else. And then because the tape covers this edge right here, I just used my X-Acto knife, and once I was done punching and had the tape and everything, I just very lightly, just like my washi tape video now, very lightly dragged it across here until it separated, and now this is a separate from the back. And it actually, this is kind of because it's a paper notebook and we use these a paper folder and we use these so often, these can kind of start to come apart. But now you just have extra reinforcement everywhere here where this thick plastic tape is going to keep this all reinforced. And you can use this pocket here as well. And then just pops right back inside. So, I mean, pretty much that's all there is to it. I think I said earlier that I ended up using my 15 off 50 to buy a whole nother Erin Condren notebook. So that's all these notes in the back here. So now I can freely use these pages without being worried at all that I'm going to run out, because all I have to do is buy another notebook. Like I said, I'll probably switch over to plum paper after because it's $12 for a notebook and it's the same exact sizes, so I don't have to worry about cutting the pages down at all. I was thinking about buying a notebook at Staples, but then I'd have to cut them down to fit inside the Filofax and to match the Erin Condren pages. But the plum paper notebooks already are the same exact size. I'll let you guys take a look at how far it cuts into my days here. It's really, really minimal, and it's really not something that was going to deter me from making this a much more functional notebook from me. The thought of not being able to use any of my note pages because I was going to run out was driving me crazy. So much so that I decided to just take the hit and, lose maybe 1/4 of an inch inside my week here. This is my current week right now. Oh, I almost forgot to talk about this thing right here. I'll talk about it in just a second. But it's really, really minimal. I'm probably going to redesign some of my stickers that I sell in my Etsy shop to fit a little bit better. Right now, I just pulled the page out, I stuck my sticker on, and then reached for my Crop-It-Out and punched right through it. Honestly, I'm probably just going to end up shortening this sticker a little bit smaller so that I can just use this on the go. But like I said, that was the one big thing that was going to deter me from punching this notebook, and it really hasn't made any difference at all, and I still don't regret punching my notebook. So what I did find was that the Filofax did come with a ruler, but it wasn't tall enough to be able to stick out through the top of the pages. So every time I wanted to get to my daily page, I couldn't get there, and it was bugging me, and I had an ollie clip or however you guys say that, but it wasn't really cutting it because I don't like it when the pages are all stuck together. So I had another throwaway item, this ruler. This was the Erin Condren ruler that came with my notebook, and the teeth were breaking off on it, so I ordered a couple backups. So it didn't matter to me if this one got messed up. So I just took my ruler and I measured, you know how the teeth used to stick out on the side here? I measured across the flat part here, all the way across the top, used my Sharpie to draw a straight line, and then just literally used scissors to snip off the teeth here. And I made this nice and smooth. Then I used my, of course, I measured everything perfectly to make sure that this was exactly centered. I think I ended up actually using my cover because, yep, I used the cover because the ruler is as wide as the cover is tall. So I just ended up sliding this down here like that and used my Sharpie to draw in the holes, and then I hand punched it with my Crop-A-Dile. So honestly, this system is working really, really well for me. I haven't had an issue with it since, and I like that I can add stuff in here too into the notes section. I'm a bullet journaler as well, which I think that's going to be my next video about how I bullet journal in my Erin Condren, because it's really been the only task management system that I've stuck with for a long time and been successful for me. I work a full-time job. I have an Etsy shop. You know, so on top of all that stuff, being able to keep all that stuff organized has been really important. So bullet journaling in here, I want to be able to add scrap pages in, whatever. And then I think that was it that I was going to talk about. Oh, the last thing I wanted to show you guys is one of the things that did deter me from getting a ringed notebook at first was people's complaints that when they want to write on, you know, Wednesdays and Thursdays, their hand was going to bump, whoop, sorry, camera shaking. Their hand was bumping into the rings here. To be totally honest with you, the spiral on the Erin Condren notebook got in the way of my hand as well. So that really, that was kind of the last straw for me. I was like, you know, this thing is, my hand is still resting on this funky and it's still kind of bugging me. But if you punch your covers, this is made of really, really nice, durable 10 mil laminate. So the way I work around that, let me grab a pen, I'll show you guys. And I hold my pen really, really funny. So if this works for me, I'm pretty sure it's going to work for you guys. I literally just kind of slide my hand underneath. Hopefully you guys can see this on the camera. I slide my hand underneath and I kind of pop this up a little bit. And then you can write on this surface till the cows come home. So if you're normally it's just sitting down like this. Hopefully you guys can see this. Just use your cover, pop the pages up a little bit like that. And then you can write on this. No problem. So you're not hitting the rings at all. So same thing if you're a lefty, you can pop it up on the other side and write. But that's kind of my workaround for the sacrifice that I have to make having rings in the middle. You just pop your cover up and you can write across it, no problems. And this is the same distance as the spiral stuck up when you fold your notebook in half. So hopefully that helps you guys. I'm going to try and make sure I get all the measurements into the notes section. If I missed anything, just feel free to comment, ask me a question. I'm in most of the Erin Condren notebook fan pages on Facebook, so you can always find me there. I'm Jess Tarina on Facebook, not Jessica, but I want it to be a little bit more fancy in this thing. So anyway, that's what convinced me to go with the Filofax, and honestly, I'm not turning back. Like I said, it gives me the peace of mind that I can rearrange this thing as needed. There's still plenty of room to add in this notebook. You can't really tell. Let's see if I can show you guys. There's still definitely room to grow. So when my new Erin Condren notebook comes, I'm going to slice that baby up and stick more of those note pages right in the back. So I think it's a really awesome workaround for anybody that wants to kind of customize their notebooks a little bit more. And I love my Erin Condren, and I love it in my Filofax even more. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions. Happy holidays, and I'll see you after the new year. Bye.